Alright, decided to do a little bit more recording. We are at the Maelstrom headquarters in Limsa. We are speaking to the captain, the storm commander here, the Ryashat Riki, Commander Riki, in a Titan spot. Ah, Mercy of the Scions, your presence is most welcome. I'm chagrined that we must turn to you again to lay Titan low. No doubt this is yesterday's news to you, but the Lord of Craigs has returned more ferocious and formidable than he was before. We cannot fathom how the kobolds were able to obtain such vast stores of crystals in so short of a time. We will learn the answer in the coming moons, I suspect, but first things first. We need you to vanquish Titan before he and the kobolds have a chance to wreak havoc on Limsa. You have felled the primal before, and we believe that you can emerge victorious once more. We've learned of a new aetheryte that will take you to the navel. It's situated deep within Ugamoro mines. Not the most convenient of locations, admittedly, so you will have to cut yourself a path. Please make all haste. Titan's mere presence emboldens the kobolds, and 'tis only a matter of time before they move in force against us. May the navigator guide you on your way, Mercy. And then next up, Mercy of the Scions, you are, as ever, a welcome sight at Maelstrom Command. Our worst fears are realized. The primal Leviathan has returned to threaten our shores. We did not think it possible for the fishbacks to summon their rapacious god without a considerably longer period of preparation, but there can be no mistake. Prior to contacting Urianger, we received a report detailing the almost complete destruction of a merchant fleet upon the open sea. Only one vessel managed to limp into port, bearing the decidedly unwelcome news of Leviathan's resurgence. Judging by the testimony given by the surviving crew members, the massive waves the entity leveled against the ships dwarfed anything we have ever seen the Primal Command before. Should he unleash a tidal wave of similarly empowered proportions, Limsa would be scraped from this island like a barnacle from a hull. It is with such dread imaginings in mind that I bid you sail forth to slay the Lord of the Whorl yet again. Our strategy remains unchanged. The twin vessel, the Whorl Eater, is already being prepared under the command of Storm Marshal Slafferson. Make your way to the Morby dry docks once your own preparations are complete. Seek out Sergeant Stirnlona, and she will see you safely aboard the ship. May the navigator guide and protect you. We are going to take our return to Revenant's Toll because the Drop Dead Shiva continuation quest is there. Well, it's north of there. We're going to Korthus. I guess this is Mordana. So we are going to Korthus Central Highlands. We'll speak with, I think it's Driamol at White Brim, at the White Brim front. Let's zoom in a bit here. Yeah, White Brim front. I believe I can totally go over these mountains. I keep thinking that the group of people that are playing Final Fantasy XI Horizons, so like that private server where they make 75 the cap, and they do eventually get to all of the released expansions, storyline wise and whatnot, but they don't increase the cap. They just increase like the gear will kind of basically increase your item level, you know, like a lot of MMORPGs do. I keep thinking about playing. I don't think that Dunes parties, Valkyrie Dunes parties, were as efficient as, like, there probably could have been alternatives to that would be more efficient. I don't know what they would be. Like maybe a group of 3, a healer, a tank, and a DPS maybe fighting tough monsters. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But anywhoozle. I like a lot of the changes, honestly, that they made to Final Fantasy XI. They made you not dependent on searching for I used when I first played Final Fantasy XI back in 2003, 2004-ish, I would have to wait and shout repeatedly with my seeking party flag up. So in that game, you would generally want to be, especially for Valkyrie Dunes, especially when your ability to travel quickly to a zone was limited. It's a lot faster now because they didn't have crystal teleports back in the day. You had to run, or you had to Chocobo, or you had to have set your home point there, which is a whole nother thing. If you set your home point in Valkyrie, then anytime you wanted to home point, you had to run from Valkyrie back to your hometown or whatever. But anyway, so you didn't want to put up your party flag until, well, you could put it up if you were kind of a couple zones away, but you'd put up your party flag like when you were in North Gustaberg, for instance, and on your way through Kronstadt Highlands, on your way through Kronstadt Highlands, which is a long run, it's a few minutes at least, and just everything felt so big when you were young, when you were at low levels, and they still feel big even at high levels, but because you have to run everywhere. Like you got mounts later in the game as well. Like, so you had the Chocobo whistle, but then they kind of upgraded that. You can get a whole bunch of different mounts pretty easily. But yeah, everything was longer. It took so long. I would sit in Valkyrie Dunes for a couple hours shouting for a party, hoping. And this was before level sync. So when they added level sync, it was easier because if I was level 10 or 11, for instance, and I was shouting for a party, and there's a party of maybe like 3 or 4, but they didn't have the numbers, like, okay, we'll level sync down to 11 to this guy. This guy's level 11, and we'll fight lizards and then goblins and, you know, bats and whatnot in Valkyrie. But it didn't used to be that way. You had to have a party that was relatively the same level, and you had to have a setup. You had to have a tank. You had to have a healer. Generally, you wanted to have an off healer, like a backup healer or a co-healer to lighten the load of the healer. So you'd have a white mage, and white mage was pretty much the only healer back in the day. The scholar hadn't existed yet. A bunch of other jobs that could heal it didn't. Like, you could be a summoner / white mage, but you wouldn't have cure 2. So you have a high mana pool, but you could only cure 1. So you better hope that you have a bard / white mage, or a red mage / white mage, or a couple more party members that were DPS maybe / white mage to throw 1 or 2 cures to help you out on the tank. And that's what it was. That's what leveling was in that back in the day. And they added what is it called? They added trust magic. So you could start out with a few trust that you could pick up from every city for free, basically, and some other trust you had to unlock certain storylines and certain mission quests and other quests and whatnot. But you had some trust, and then you could level with the trust. So you could have 1 trust out. Like, if you were a white mage, you might want a DPS trust out, Ayame or Tenkin or something like that. Well, Tenkin you got a lot later. I'm pretty sure from Crystal Chains of Promethea stuff. But anyway. I don't miss the days of shouting for parties endlessly in Dunes, and then shouting for parties or being with your party flag up for a long time. Because you get back from school, you get back from work, and you want to get into the game and level up, but you wait hours. And God forbid back in the day you were on a job that nobody wanted to invite to parties. Like, yeah, some jobs just got a really bad reputation. Thief was particularly fairly useless until 15 when they got sneak attack, and then they could do some actual damage, and then they were very useful. But your thief came to the party, hopefully they had some strength food, some attack and strength food, and then they had the highest level dagger they could get, hopefully a +1, hopefully they had some strength rings or something, but you know, strength rings were level 14. So anyway, I got a piece. I'm going to get through this Dreamon thing. It's a cutscene. Yay. My gratitude for your timely return, Mercy. Would that it were under better circumstances. Our efforts to contain the heretic threat in the western highlands beyond Snowcloak have suffered a grievous setback. In order to determine expeditious In order to support expeditions further afield, we sought to establish an outpost in the heretics' former fortress. Under guard, our craftsmen began the necessary improvements, and for a time all proceeded according to plan. Son of a bitch! I clicked too fast because I'm an idiot. I just tried to get my camera off the screen like an... Something about probably getting attacked while they were building things. Whatever. I hate this. I do not begrudge my men their decision to flee. By all accounts, it would have been a slaughter. Any survivors condemned to a fate worse than death at the hands of their leader. However, by abandoning our crystal stores, we have given the heretics the means to summon their patron saint. I'm so annoyed. I'm so sorry that I skipped through that. I should know better, but I have to pee and my mind's not right apparently. I beseech you, Mercy, slayer of the gods of beastmen who banished once before the demon who threatens us now, lend us your strength. Infiltrate Snowcloak and put an end to Iceheart's machinations. Will do, schmildo. Thank you, my friend, though I pray you can stop her before she completes her ritual. I have faith you can defeat Shiva, should it come to that. One of Sir Emeric's temple knights awaits you at Snowcloak. He shall guide you through the secret tunnels to the Aetheryte at the heart of the heretics' fortifications, whence you may gain entrance to Iceheart's sanctuary as before. That's the end of this video. I apologize for skipping through that. I could go all the way back, cancel out the quest entirely, I think. I don't actually know if it'll let me, but anyway, I'm out for now. I gotta pee. I'll just see you guys later.